This is Engage New York, Module 3, Lesson 8. Read the objective while I read it out loud. I can add fractions to and subtract fractions from whole numbers. So that's our big idea today, is using a whole number and either adding to it or subtracting from it, using equivalence and the number line. So we're going to be using that number line to help us today. All right, let's go ahead and start with some fluency though. Adding and subtracting whole numbers and fractions. I'm going to read this off, 3.5. I'll say the answer. You say the addition problem as a whole number and a fraction. So let's start off. So if I said 3.5, the addition sentence would be 3 plus 1/2. All right. So if I say 5.5, what is that going to look like? Write it out. All right. So 5 plus 1/2. All right. What about 2 3/4? So it's 2 plus 3/4. Then 1 5/6. What is it going to be? 1 plus 5/6. All right, so let's switch. I'll say the addition problem and you say the answer. So 2 1/5 is going to give you 2 1/5. What about 2 plus 4/5? So that's 2 4/5. Whoops. Fifths. Then 5 plus 7/8. So that looks like 5 7/8. Eighths. All right, and 3 plus 7/12. So that's going to be 3 7/12. All right. Now, I'm going to say the subtraction sentence and you repeat and then say the answer. So 1 minus 1/2. So if you have one whole and you subtract half, you're going to end up with what? 1/2. How about 2 subtract 1/2? 2 subtract 1/2, you're going to end up with 1 1/2. All right, 2 1/2, and you're going to subtract half. You're going to end up with 2. How about 6 minus 1/4? You're going to end up with 5 3/4. And then 3 plus 3/4. 6 plus 3/4. So you're going to get 6 3/4. All right. Does that make sense? So we're just taking it and either we're taking the word out and replacing it with the plus sign with the addition symbol, or we're taking the addition symbol out and replacing it with the and. All right, let's go ahead and move to our application problem. So our application problem, Jane found money in her pocket. She went to the store and spent 1/4 of her money on chocolate milk, 3/5 of her money on a magazine, and the rest of her money on candy. What fraction of her money did she spend on candy? So I want you to go ahead and try this problem out. I want you to draw me a tape diagram and show me how you would set this problem up. How are you going to find out how much money she spent on candy? I want you to try it, and then I want you to come back and debrief, check your work. All right, let's look at the debrief. So here is my tape diagram. Here is 1/4 of her money on chocolate milk, 3/5 of her money on a magazine, and that's what we're trying to find out. The candy, how much she spent on candy. Here is all, this tape diagram represents all of her money. So let's go ahead and try to add up what we do know. So 1/4 plus 3/5 plus an unknown amount equals 1 whole. So in order to add these two fractions, I have to find a common denominator. Now, I know that when I see 4 and 5, I automatically know my common denominator is going to be 20. But if you don't know that all right away, then you can always scoreboard to help you find that common denominator. So when I convert my 1/4 into an equivalent fraction and try to put both of these fractions on the same number line, I end up with 5/20 plus 12/20 plus an unknown amount is equal to 1 whole. So I add these two up and I get 17/20 plus unknown amount is still equal to 1 whole. And like I've showed you before, in order to isolate the problem and isolate the variable and have all of the work on one side of the problem, I'm going to get rid of the 17/20 on this side. And the way I get rid of this 17/20 on this side is to subtract, because this is addition. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to use the inverse operation to remove 17/20 from this side of the equation. But whatever I do on this side of the equation, I have to do on this side of the equation. So this takes us down here. So now I'm left with, this is gone right here, and now I'm left with question mark is equal to 1 whole subtract 17/20, because remember I came up here and I subtracted on this side, I subtracted on this side of the equal sign. So now I have to convert 1 whole into a fraction so that I can subtract. And remember, I can only subtract a fraction if they are like units, if they sit on the same number line. And I know I always look at the denominator of the fraction I'm working with in order to tell me what my whole is going to transform into. So 20/20 subtract 17/20 is 3/20. Jane spent 3/20 of her money on candy. Now remember, this isn't the answer. This is the answer. All right. So hopefully you did well and you understand what I just did. So meet me on back for concept development for Module 3, Lesson 8, Concept Development.